So, you're into the PvP hype now, huh? You want to battle, but you don't know how? What are you doing? Let's go! Yes, you battlers, you know what it is. JayDevin back at it with another video. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome. Subscribe if you feel my vibe. Power up, punch the notification bell for all the PvP content. For today's video, we are going to be going over some regionals format best of threes. And considering they were only 2 battles each, I decided let's just go ahead and do it all as one video. And real quick, right before we do just jump on into that, if you are wondering why you have not seen me go live on YouTube, it's because I did transition all of my PvP live streams over to Twitch. So if you'd like to join still for those live streams and get some live feedback or even virtual coaching, or if you want any kind of tips as far as your teams, when to shield, when not to shield, what move sets to use, I am more than happy to answer any of those questions pretty much on any platform. You can throw it in the comments below. You can come drop in a live stream, throw it in chat. You could even tweet me. But if you do want to be in on that live stream scene, I made it easy for you. Follow me right now. Link in the description below. But anyways, that is not what we came here to do. We came here to go over some regionals format best of threes. We do have 2 different best of threes to go over, so let's get started. I use the same team, and you can see that same team right up there. Yes, it is exactly the same thing. Medicham, Venusaur, Swampert, Skarmory, as well as Sableye. For this first best of 3, we did go up against Styx10. Styx10 does also have a PokemonGOPvP channel if you did not know. Link also in the description below. But the team that Styx brought is going to be right here. And as you can see, he's having Lantern, Venusaur, Medicham, Altaria, as well as Skarmory. I thought it was pretty interesting that Styx brought Altaria in his team of 6. It does have a lot of good matchups. It's undeniable. Altaria is a beast. But it was the first time I saw Altaria being used for this meta in a good minute. All right, so game 1 up against Styx10. I did open up with Sableye, he opened up with Venusaur. For the most part, I'm pretty comfortable in this open because I can still win. I know I'm going to have to use shields on the Frenzy Plant. Sableye cannot take a Frenzy Plant. He's still pretty glassy, but I'm still kind of comfortable because Shadow Claw in combination with Foul Play as well as Power Gem provides great, quick, heavy hitting coverage. Sableye is expensive though. You do have to completely max a Sableye out for it to be used to its max potential for Great League. So I did end up going for the double Foul Play because I want to put on as much pressure as possible. It did work out how I wanted it to for the most part. We were able to get rid of the Venusaur and his Lantern comes out. Now we're taking the water gun damage super quick, but I'm still going to stay in because we won against the first Pokemon that Styx brought out. I'm just going to stay in with Sableye because I have Swampert sitting here ready and good to go. Now, I was thinking, okay, this should be Thunderbolt. I am not going to shield. It was the Hydro Pump, as you can see. So I probably should have shielded. I kind of underestimated, and I definitely did not count properly how quick that Lantern got to that Hydro Pump. So GG's, Lantern is good. I'm definitely considering running Lantern in my team of 6 at this point because of the matchups and just how much of a tank and a beast he is. Especially, you know, as a Skarmory counter. Skarmory has been super common for the most part. And, you know, we also see a lack of ground coverage, which is something that Lantern is weak to. So, I don't know, it's considerable. You still have to watch out for the grass, of course, but Lantern potentially going to be in my 6, okay? Now, in this matchup, as you've seen it play out, I did have to end up using a shield against the Sky Attack coming from the Altaria. That's kind of a given because that's going to be super effective damage, but game 1 is over. We're going to move on to game 2. GG's. Let's move on to game 2. Now for game 2 against Styx10, I did decide to switch it up a little bit because he does not have any ghost or dark attackers. I felt pretty comfortable opening up with against his team as a whole. I resist a lot. I do take some neutral damage from the likes of Lantern as well as Medicham, but I felt pretty comfortable opening with that. I led with my gut and it kind of paid off. We are not going to be shielding that Sky Attack coming from the Skarm. What I actually do, not so much playing mind games, but I know I can also win this matchup, even though it's pretty risky. I felt comfortable as well, considering their lineup, switching in to the Sableye. Because Sableye is going to be able to win against a lot of what they have. The biggest threat, I think, is going to be Lantern. So it was a little bit of a risky play, but ultimately it did pay off in this best of 3. definitely don't want to make moves quite that ballsy in tournament play, but you know, this just was practice. I was practicing the utility of my team, the different matchups with my team, and what Pokemon sit good next to each other, right? I want to get to learn their synergy and how they play with each other if I bring them in the same team of 3 for a battle. So Sableye does go down. He did his job. He put in a lot of work, but now I have this sitting here good to go. This should be a Sky attack if I remember correctly. I'm not going to shield. I am going to resist it, but it still does a good chunk of damage. Altaria is a monster. Now, he has the Lantern. He brings the Lantern out, so I swap into my Venusaur as soon as possible because I'm just going to dominate this matchup, and I know for a fact that I need to save that shield from that Altaria, or even possibly from this Lantern, because you can see he got off the Hydro Pup against me. It did not KO, and he's going to have to use the shield against the Frenzy Plant, but I've stacked up enough energy. I'm able to get off another Frenzy Plant right afterwards. I'm just going to pump out the Frenzy Plants, get rid of the Lantern, be gone, but we do end up taking it just with the Vine Whip. So GG's. Let's move on to the next best of 3. Best in West also does have a Pokemon Go PvP YouTube channel. Link is also in the description below. There are some team differences. It's pretty much copy and paste the same team. The main difference being was replaced with the Azumarill, and then Venusaur is replaced with Victory Bell, which I don't think I remember seeing Victory Bell at all for this best of 3, but let's find out. Let's get into it. All right, so I do open up with the Swampert. He does open up with the Lantern. Can be pretty favorable, but Lantern is still a considerable force. It's super tanky and it can put out the quick water gun damage, and even though Swampert can be a powerhouse, he still is pretty glassy. He's not the tankiest of Pokemon. So he comes in with the Altaria to put out the quick Dragon Breath damage. I'm going to switch in for the Skarm. Now, this matchup between Altaria and Skarmory can be pretty interesting. Altaria can actually win if I do not shield. I need to use at least one shield, and it goes both ways. So it's not necessarily hands down a winning matchup for the Skarmory, but I felt pretty confident switching into that because I needed something to stand up against the Altaria. I needed something to stand a chance, and Skarmory can. So we're going to shield this Sky attack. I'm going for the Flash Cannon. Not necessarily greedy, but I gotta put out heavy damage against that Altaria as quick as I can, and luckily it goes unshielded. So that potentially was the turn of events for us in this best of 3 as we got that Flash Cannon through. It connected. So Flash Cannon can be important, as you can see, as an additional move to add to your Skarmory. If you're considering adding one or not adding one, I recommend adding one. Now, he comes out with the Skarm. I have the Sableye. I know I can win this matchup. I'm still pretty comfortable. Again, this was not the best move. This was not the way to go. I went for the Power Gem against the Skarmory. Just go for the foul play. These battles were from a couple weeks ago at this point, or last week, I think, but it is what it is. He comes back out with the Lantern. I'm going straight for that Earthquake. We definitely should see a shield right here, and we do not, actually. So that's pretty much going to be GG's. We do get off this Hydro Cannon, but I don't think his Skarm really stands a chance against anything else that I have at this point. There's really not much he can do for game 1, and we do get off the second Hydro Cannon. I think he may have had enough energy to get the Sky attack at that point, but he also realized it's GG's. So GG's game 1. Let's move on to game 2. Now, for game 2 in this best of 3 for Regionals 2.0 against the one, the only, the best in West, I did the same thing I did to Styx last time. I opened up with the... I felt pretty comfortable with it. You have no Ghost attacker and you have no Dark type attacker. Can put in some work. Is a threat. Do not underestimate the... Okay? I did shield that Thunderbolt because it can deal neutral damage and kind of doesn't want to take a hit. Even though he has a lot of good resistances, I still don't want to take too much damage. I want to utilize him towards the end game in this best of 3. So he comes out with the Skarm. My favorable matchup right now is to go in with the Sableye. I was trying to be a little greedy. I did not need to be that greedy. It was unnecessary, but I am going to go for the foul play. Unluckily, it's not a good thing. They do get off the Sky attack, and that's partially due to me being a little too greedy, but I decide to invest the shield anyway, and I'm going for another foul play so we can get the damage out there. But we ended up actually getting a shield, which is also kind of what I wanted or what I was going for. Either way, I think it worked out in the end for this best of 3, because now we can bring out this which is going to resist all moves that Skarmory can throw at it. I'm going to go for the Psyshock. Even though it's going to be resisted, it can hit pretty hard because being part psychic typing is going to get same type attack bonus from Psyshock. And here I wanted to get rid of the Skarm with the Confusion, even though the same thing with Confusion, even though it's resisted, I know it can put out heavy damage pretty quick. So he does come out with the Azumarill. Now, as you saw, just a couple minutes ago or a couple seconds ago, I did have my Venusaur sitting in the back. So it's pretty much GG's. I was able to get off the double Psyshock against the Azumarill with no shields. And we see, I believe this was an Ice Beam actually that came out from this Azumarill. No, it was a Play Rough, which potentially was a mistake on their part. I'm not sure whether or not Best in West actually had Ice Beam on Azumarill during these best of threes. He may have opted for Play Rough and Hydro Pump as the charge move combo. But I did survive long enough to face this Lantern. We're going to get off the Frenzy Plant, go for the TKO, and that is going to be GG's. Again, if you want to join for my PvP live streams, it is twitch.tv/JayDevin live. Again, that link is in the description below because you know, everybody wants to PvP now. But again, if you did enjoy, subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up, punch the notification bell for all that PvP content. That is it for this best of threes video. We'll see you in the next video. Have a good freaking day.